Well, hello and welcome to Court Corner. I'm Ashmit Kumar. Now, the Supreme Court has upheld the 10% reservation in government jobs and educational institutions for economically weaker sections, or EWS. That's one acronym which we'll be using a lot here. Now, a 3:2 split verdict by the Supreme Court upheld the validity of the amendment, which had come into effect in January of 2019, months before the Lok Sabha elections. A slew of petitions had challenged the amendment on the ground that it propagated the principle of exclusion. Petitioners argue that economic classification cannot be the sole basis for reservation. The court, while delivering its judgment, said that reservations cannot continue indefinitely and need to be revisited for a casteless, classless society. So what essentially constitutes economically weaker sections? Well, those not from the SC, ST or OBC community and with an annual family income below 8 lakh rupees may be eligible. Now, the centre had earlier told the Supreme Court that 8 lakh rupees is a reasonable threshold. And well, to take this discussion forward, we are now joined by political analyst Tehseen Poonawalla and A. Saravanan, spokesperson for the party DMK. Mr. Saravanan, let me come to you. We are coming just hours after the judgment. We heard a statement. We've seen a tweet by the DMK Chief Minister, Mr. M.K. Stalin, where he said that this is a setback in a century-old struggle for social justice. Would you care to elaborate on that?
Yeah, see, reservation is not a poverty alleviation program. This is what the essence of what our leader, Mr. M.K. Stalin, has said about this judgment and about the amendment itself. If you look at economic criteria, economic status is always fungible. I'm a millionaire today, I may become a pauper tomorrow. I'm a pauper today, I may become a millionaire tomorrow. So what is the timeline? What is the chronology for giving this reservation to someone? And historically speaking, people have been deprived of access to education, access to various other things based on their caste. So why do we wanted to have reservation? To ensure that the people who have been denied this access to education, to jobs, and to other things based on their caste to come out of that threshold and move forward in their life. But where is this? Now, when we are speaking about this reservation, you are now bringing in a different criteria. You have been
let me come in here.
Discriminated.
Let me come in here with a small question. Let me ask you a small supplementary question. The issue that you've raised is that this is a setback for social justice because the issue eventually you're arguing boils down to the issue of representation of various castes. The reason that I'm asking you this question is that what has long been argued and in fact has been upheld by various judges, Justice Trivedi, Justice Maheshwari as well, that this 10% EWS reservation that we're talking about does not come at the expense of the SC, ST, OBC reservation. So how does that then affect the rights of these other minorities that you're referring to?
Yeah, because in the general category, everybody is fighting for that. Everybody is fighting. OBC can fight, SC can fight, ST can fight. You are taking that 10% from the open category and giving it to them for exclusively for upper caste Hindus, upper caste people. How can that be? Are there not any poor people? Are there not extremely poor people in the backward communities, in the SC communities and the ST communities? The biggest joke is this, that if you can be a poor upper caste man in India, if you earn below up to the threshold of 8 lakhs, but you are not entitled for a scholarship of an SC or an ST, if you belong to an SC or an ST, if your annual salary is about 2.5 lakhs. This is the biggest, I don't know how to put it. This is this contradiction and all the other things makes that EWS is
Let's in fact take that across to Mr. Poonawalla also, who's joining us. Right, Mr. Saravanan, thank you for that view. Let's also take that across to Mr. Poonawalla. Mr. Poonawalla, very good evening. Thank you so much for joining us. First question, the thoughts that are being shared by the DMK party is that this is a big setback for social justice. The reasoning, however, of the Supreme Court appears to be that this 10% reservation is over and above the SC, ST, OBC reservation that we already have, and therefore one does not come at the expense of the other. Your quick thoughts on this judgment that has come today, a landmark judgment from the 5-judge bench.
Ashmit, good evening. Thank you for having me on my show. And at the onset, I actually concur with what the DMK is saying. I was one of the petitioners against the EWS reservations. primarily because it violates Indira Sahni and the 50% cap that's put on reservation, but a number of other issues. Let me be very candid and put some points across. Nobody, not even the DMK or any other political party, is saying that, listen, if you are poor, you should not get help or economic benefits. So, for example, the ration that the Honorable Prime Minister claims to give 80% of India is not given on any caste, religion, or gender criteria. Similarly, Ayushman Bharat is not based on any caste, religion, or gender criteria. Similarly, Manrega is not based on any caste, religion, or gender criteria. However, reservation must only be based on caste. And let me explain to you why very briefly. Let me ask you today, let's look at, for example, the state of Uttar Pradesh. How many of our SC, ST, or OBC fellow citizens are police commissioners, SPs, or DMs even today? Let's look at 22, the Honorable Supreme Court. How many of our Dalit fellow citizens, OBC fellow citizens, ST fellow citizens are judges in the Honorable Supreme Court? Let's look at all the high courts across India today in 2022. How many chief justices are from the Dalit, OBC, or SC or ST community? Let's look at all the universities. How many SC, ST, OBC citizens, fellow citizens are vice chancellors of these universities? Even 75 years after independence, we have not been able to give them the benefits of affirmative actions. They aren't. Jiski jitni abadi, uski utni hissedari. One day that many people. Let's answer these questions first.
Sure. Then let me just follow up with another question, and this I would borrow from some of the findings from Justice Bhatt's judgment. He was, of course, in minority today, but however, he did point out that this exclusionary system of having a 10% EWS quota that does not take into account the SC, ST, OBC community is something that's arbitrary and violative of the basic structure of the Constitution. Would that have satisfied your concerns if within the 10% EWS quota, it also provided for SC, ST, OBC community?
No, I differ with that as well. And I bow before the Honorable Supreme Court. I bow before the Honorable Apex Court. But I completely disagree with that position as well as with all the positions taken by the learned judges. Listen, first of all, for 5,000 years, a particular group of people have been discriminated against. 75 years has not changed that. And even if it is, just put out the data in front of me. Let's talk about the most Honorable Supreme Court before whose majesty I completely bow. Out of these 5 judges, honorable judges, how many were from the SC, ST, OBC community? May I ask? How many judges as of today on 7th November 2022 are SC, ST, OBC communities? Let's ask this. Have our fellow citizens from these communities been given the positions that they deserve? Again, I'm saying, jiski jitni abadi, as much percentage of population each one represent, let them be given positions based on that percentage. Why has that not happened after 75 years? They haven't got the benefits of affirmative action. Statements that are being vague of economic criteria help are being misrepresented by reservations. These are two separate issues. If Tehseen Poonawalla, if Mr. Saravanan, if for you, Mr. Kumar, anybody is economically weaker, he, she, it must get reservations in hospital, must get benefits in hospitals, food, education. Nobody's denying that. But reservation can only be based on caste. That's the constitutional position of the country. How can that be violated? This, with due respect to the Honorable Supreme Court, is going to open a floodgate. And I dare say the reservations are now going to start getting diluted.
Interesting thoughts. Mr. Saravanan, your quick question on that same issue here. Justice Bhatt, one of the main issues that he had red flagged with the majority view is that there is an exclusionary setting as far as this EWS quota is concerned. It does not account for SC, ST, OBC communities. Keeping that concern in mind, what do you think is a better course of action in the future that the party perhaps is contemplating, that you are contemplating?
Yeah, see, if you look at the entire judgment, I think this is a disappointing judgment. We are very disappointed because we opposed it. The DMK as a party opposed this amendment even when it was moved in the parliament. We are the only party which opposed it tooth and nail. And now we have also filed a case against it and we have got this judgment. When we look at this, we are against this defining monetary status as a way for reservation. I think that negates the social concept of social justice. What is very saddening is that in 1952, the reservation was, the Supreme Court said, reservations cannot be allowed. They are discriminatory. Reservations based on communal lines was discriminatory, of course, and we fought. The state of Tamil Nadu fought it, and there we had this constitutional amendment where they said reservations could be based on communal lines and caste lines. That is one of the important achievements of the social justice movement. Now we have taken a step back, and we are saying we are providing reservation exclusively for forward caste Hindus because they are earning around 8 lakh rupees. So this is a real tragedy because we have been fighting this system on the basis of the discrimination meted out on the basis of caste lines. Now that criteria has been taken out. That criteria has no consideration at all. They say you are monetarily poor. Yes, I am monetarily poor. Please provide some money. If they don't have money to pay college fees, give scholarships. But that is not the that solution has not been opted. This is purely political. This is a purely political ploy by the BJP. They have did this based on the vote bank. They wanted to do vote bank politics. That is the reason why they have done this.
Sure, Mr. Saravanan. Mr. Poonawalla, let me come to you, and this is with respect to a few observations that were made by Justice Trivedi as well as by Justice Pardiwala, where they pointed out that reservation is not an end in itself, but rather a means to an end, and that it cannot become a vested right, and that over time, perhaps some kind of timeline needs to be worked out, whereby slowly and gradually these reservations are phased out. Essentially, an argument against reservation. Your quick take on that?
Again, I bow before the Honorable Apex Court. I bow to the majesty of the Honorable Apex Court, but I again ask the same question humbly. And, you know, it's very easy even to go one step further and quote Baba Sahib Ambedkar, who said this must be for 10 years. Nobody is answering my question based on data. How many judges, if you want to remove reservation, fine, I'm for it. Now, please tell me how many judges from the OBC category or from the SC category are today in the Supreme Court? How many of SC judges or OBC judges or judges from the ST community were a part of this judgment? How many? How many chief justices as of 7th November 2022 all across India are from the SC, ST, OBC category? How many district magistrates, how many superintendents of police, police commissioners, let's say the state of Uttar Pradesh or Bihar, the most populous two states in India, are Dalits, SC, ST, OBC citizens? How many vice chancellors in the universities, national universities, are from the Dalit, SC, OBC communities? Let me go one step further, and I am against reservation in private sector, but let me go one step further. How many prime time anchors in 8 p.m., 9 p.m. shows are Dalits, SC, OBCs? And again, I'm against reservation in private sector. How many are there? So you want to remove reservations, but you're saying 75 years is a long time, but has the benefits of this affirmative action reached down? If so, give me the numbers. I dare the BJP, two dares. One, you with the 2011 census, remove the OBC caste census and caste data. Number two, make a person from the Dalit community or ST community or OBC community as the RSS chief. Will they do it? They won't. But they come here and lecture people and they are taking away the rights of citizens who have not got the benefits of affirmative action. Just put this data out and I'm ready to accept your viewpoint and the viewpoint of the Honorable Supreme Court.
Right. But if we are to talk about the future course of action, Mr. Poonawalla, you're clearly aggrieved, you're not happy with this judgment. Safe to assume that a review is around the corner, a review petition in the top court?
I haven't read the judgment because the judgment is not yet out completely. I will need to study the judgment. At the onset, I differ with the judgment. Let me see if we have to go in for a review. But, you know, again, I say this with respect. You're going for review. We'll talk further on it. And then I'm ready to accept your point of view. But let's have a dialogue.
Sure. Mr. Saravanan, same question to you. In that tweet that Mr. M.K. Stalin had put out, he had said that they're contemplating legal remedies and they're looking at legal options available to them. Is a review around the corner? Is that something that you're likely to pursue, that the party is likely to pursue?
That's what. It is entirely left to how the government and the legal experts want to take this forward. How they want to ensure that this is an injustice that has been done to all the people who are downtrodden across the length and breadth of this country, and we will look at it. See, if you look at one more aspect of this judgment, That is, that 50 percentage ceiling has been broken off. We'll have to read the judgment fully to understand how.
That's one of very many questions that will in fact attract a lot of debate.
Yes.
As Mr. Poonawalla was pointing out,
let me come to that. Let me point that out. Yeah, Ashmit, let me say this.
The only apology is that at this point, we're running out of time and we don't quite have the copy of the judgment yet. We'll definitely come out and seek your opinion once again, once we have a more clear understanding, a better understanding of what the judgment is dictating. But for now, that's all the time that we have for Mr. Poonawalla, Mr. Saravanan. Thank you for the time that you've taken out to speak to us, for giving your perspective. The Supreme Court gave this crucial verdict on the last day of the outgoing Chief Justice of India, Justice UU Lalit. Now, as the Chief Justice, he had a brief tenure of about 74 days, but his career at the Supreme Court spanned 37 years. Before heading into the break, let's take a look at the visuals from his farewell ceremony.
His judgments on wide-ranging aspects of the criminal law, including the death penalty and the scope of criminal appeals, will continue to mirror a reflection of who we are as a society. The Chief Justice told me that the judge told him that the purpose of a judge reading a brief is to meet the lawyer and not beat the lawyer.
Tremendous amount of support from my brother and sister judges. And equal support from the bar. I know I made certain demands. Demands were slightly tough. Matters were getting listed, perhaps at a shorter notice, but everybody rose to the occasion.
Thank you, Amit ji.
Jug, jug, jig. Jug, jug, jig.